It was right after watching an Alex Ramosi video where I realized like I'm gonna suck so bad at creating content and like scripting and getting my point across and doing things like that because I'm just bad at it. I'm just new. Basically, I know that I just gotta keep pumping out content, keep making these videos, keep getting good at just speaking in front of a camera because I know that this camera basically connects me to everyone who I know I want to get connected with. I'm potentially speaking to somebody right now who might get impacted from this video or who might get some value out of it. And I realized like that's really what I'm doing it for. I actually just realized that like 2 seconds ago. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so much easier now. Basically, I just want to get into some stuff. I watched some videos on YouTube. Actually, let me pull this up because I gotta give bro his credit. It was something I was able to resonate with. I realized this is the kind of thing I should be speaking about as well if I want to resonate with anybody who maybe I could help later on. Noel, yeah, basically Noel, body lifter guy. A lot of things he was mentioning was just about following your passions and things like that. And lately, as I've been vlogging or as I've been getting used to just kind of talking on camera, I've been thinking about a lot of what I want to do, and I actually have some stuff that I wrote down that I want to kind of document for myself as time goes on, right? The one thing I've been struggling with recently is separating the content creator, right, from an influencer. They kind of go hand in hand, but I think what I'm trying to say is an influencer in my eyes is just somebody who entertains or works so hard to become this sort of entertainer person who focuses more on making money through brand deals and things of that nature. And that's just not, I realize that's not really what I want to do. I feel like if I want to go into entertainment or if I actually wanted to be some kind of character that I could be, but I don't want to go that way because I just feel like I want something more supplemental to my life. The content creator path that I actually want to take is more based on being of value or even creating this foundation of my authority in what it is that I know how to do and the things that I ultimately will build through all of this. So I'm niching it super far down, right? I'm not going into entertainment. I feel like if I wanted to, I'd be able to put my all into it, and 6 months down the line I'd have a following for Twitch streaming or some kind of whatever. Like I'm sure a lot of you want that too. Like you see all the glam, you see all the you're starstruck by all these influencers and creators who are living these lives, posting these stories, posting these videos in general online, and you're just like, wow, like I want that. And then you start posting things that you think will get you to that. And ultimately, if you get there, I think you're gonna be hit really hard, realizing that eventually you'll become a trend. I like to think of actors in this perspective where we have Timothy Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio Leonardo has already created an extensive legacy for himself, and Timothy Chalamet has built an incredible backlog of work that he has already done. But that's the kind of work and effort that you have to put in to actually succeed as an entertainer or as some sort of influencer. You're not going to live off of brand deals, and that makes no sense if you actually think you want to. That's a delusion, getting paid for things that you don't even truly care about. I just don't think that's sustainable, and I think the passion and motivation will fall off a lot quicker that way. The path I want to take content creating is kind of built more on the things I do know, right? The actual value I can give to somebody watching this or down the line, or whoever may actually take what it is I'm saying. I'll give you a little story time about myself. Basically, I come from an immigrant family. I watched my parents struggle. Everyone has a story similar like that. I don't want to discredit my own. I'm sure you've all seen your own set of hardships the way I've seen my own set of hardships as well. But I came from a place where the best path for me was always the traditional one, the school one, this path where I get a career and really build on it and just continue climbing the ladder until I'm old and gray and finally have enough money to retire and buy a boat, go to the Mykonos, do something like that, right? But at that point, everyone I love will be dead and gone. That makes no sense to me. I didn't want to go to school to learn business from someone who has never built a multi-million-dollar business. I was in college during COVID, right? I think COVID, what, 2020 or 2021. I was at college probably for like 4 months in my freshman year before COVID truly hit and like caused the entire shutdown of all universities in the area. I remember as I was doing classes online, and this was such a brand new thing to everybody, that I was just throwing it off. I did not care. Everything was online. I did not care anymore. And knowing that no matter what, none of these things had anything to do with the goal that you actually wanted to set, right? In my first video of, or my like recent video before 2025 ended, I talk about my goal, what my North Star is, and that's freedom. And I'm looking for freedom. And I think I always was looking for freedom, but it took me a long time to get to this current stage of where I'm at to remember that. I was really on it during COVID. I was Twitch streaming. I was drop shipping. I was in crypto before all the jumps. I did NFTs. I failed at NFTs and I lost a lot of money and I made some money, but I gained a lot of experience. I basically grew up in the restaurant industry. I started off as a busboy when I was 15, and I remember that my front of the house manager wanted to get rid of my dumbass so bad. He was gonna let me go, and the head chef at the time, who I grew very close with, who ultimately became my mentor, he basically took me under his wing. And from then on, I was in the kitchen for a long time. I was started the dish pit, worked my way through prep, and then ultimately started playing in all the other spaces and stations of the kitchen, which actually ultimately in my early 20s brought me to my first business partner and my first ever company, where we actually had an online restaurant, which we can get into in a whole separate video. Basically, after COVID, and I had done all these things and the world was coming back outside again, I went back into the kitchen. I went back into the restaurant because that's the only thing I knew I was good at and I was going to get paid the most from. And at this point in my life, I'm probably making $40,000 a year, at max 50, with being at the top of right under kitchen manager, right? I was like the unspoken kitchen manager. At one point at one of the restaurants I worked at, there was only like 3 real main cooks who really locked shit in and did everything, right? 4 actually. And we ran the whole kitchen for the whole week, every single week, day, every single night. Right after my last gig in the restaurant, I had seen an old friend again after a long time, and I remember I had already quit because I was working 2 jobs, 2 different restaurants, and I had quit one recently so I can focus on building my resume and looking for a government job in the FDA because I had a connect over there, and she's one of the higher people up there, and she was actually my boss at one point because she also owned a small cafe, which, wow, there's just so much lore to really cut through here. But I was gonna go there and be a customer service rep for the government, and that's insane. Basically, a friend of mine, I told him about that one time when we were in the gym, and he had just started his company and he needed some help, and he actually asked me if I wanted to go in and join him, and it took weeks for him to actually get it set up, which I can't blame the guy, he was busy. But he really brought me into the first ever part of my life where I can feel like I have grown something massive, right? I am actually still with this team and company 2 years, 2.5, almost 3 years later. And we've built something incredible. Over the last few years, I've garnered tons of skills from scaling a tech company like this. And if you don't know anything about me, the company is Mindgrasp. And I'm very proud of this company and how far we've gone and the team that we have and all the achievements that we've done together. Basically, over the last few years, I've learned so many skills. I've been able to scale my own department on top of assisting in other departments and just being all around a full-on utility belt. And I've learned so much that I know that if I focus on sharing the things of how I felt as an entrepreneur into going into this next chapter as going into a solopreneur, I think I will be able to give a lot of value to a lot of people when it comes to real substance, real foundational growth in their life, right? The one thing that they tell you about being an entrepreneur is that it really changes the way you see everything. Once you get to the point where you're fully locked in, like you start hyper fixating on every important aspect because you don't see everything in broad, you see everything by priority now. And if you see that, you're like, okay, wow, I realize my health is taking a toll. I gotta get back into the gym. I gotta start taking care of myself and lifting weights. In our distribution, we have to line things up perfectly for the thing that is working the most, while we cut down on other things that may not be working the best at that time, while we fix them to get them all back up to the same level. I want to be more of a player in this entrepreneurial space, and alongside a lot of my friends who are also in this space, right? Because over the years I've gained dozens and hundreds of connections who have grown incredible, amazing things. And I know that as I grow my own foundation for my own life, on top of all the blessings that God has given me, like being a part of this company and growing it to where it is and getting the type of money that I'm getting from a venture like this, those are the things I want to focus on sharing. I want to be able to give that to somebody else, or at least help share insight and experiences with others so that they can get to a point where they're able to build more and grow more on their own. I think all of that lore, all of that storytelling just now was to ultimately talk about the path I'm going to go in as a content creator. Again, I think it's just the path of being that entrepreneur, being the Wi-Fi bread connoisseur, because in the end, I have made over 6 figures on this laptop alone, and that mind boggles the hell out of me even to this day. If I can share what I know, or even build on what I know and document, the more I grow and build this new venture, or even alongside of what we currently do with my team at Mindgrasp, I'll be able to A, take myself further, and B, bring a lot of you all with me as well. Because what I'm trying to do is just give a mindset transfer. I'm trying to share this with others, and hopefully build this community of people who want to be accountable for their actions, want to do more, just have that itch, that hunger and ambition to do more. And the only way I'm going to be able to reach you is if I have the audacity to say anything in front of a camera and connect with you in front of the platforms that give each and every one of us a mic to speak with each other. The whole point of the initial videos that I was watching is that it doesn't take a fancy setup. It doesn't take anything crazy. All you truly really need is your phone. We all have a phone with a camera on it, or at least the majority of us do. And if you have something of real substance and real value to say that keeps you to your most authentic self, or brings you to become your most authentic self, that resonates with others, then you have the potential that you can dig into to really bring out the results that you want to see. My entire goal from this is to use this as a mirror to reflect all the actions that it will take me to become the man that I truly aspire to become. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, if I'm able to get to the point of freedom that I truly believe I am free, and I don't have to wait till I'm 60 and all my loved ones are dead to A, take somebody on a trip, or B, be there to take care of things when a family member needs it, or even C, just being able to enjoy more moments with my loved ones, my family, my lifetime friends. That's the freedom I'm truly trying to chase. And I think using video, using content creating to reflect everything that I've learned to get to that point and get that to that end goal of mine that I have in mind is going to be a very supplemental key part in building this foundation for myself. I pretty much covered everything that it is I needed to cover. I'm just thankful. I want to take a moment to thank God for everything He has done for me in my life, and for the people around my life that He has also blessed, even if they don't see it yet. I'm just able to have the opportunity to be born in this generation where we are all able to have this platform to speak our minds and share value with one another, like true value. If you did watch this, I appreciate you so much. If you're new and you're seeing this and you want to follow along, don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to get the community going, so hopefully by now there should be a Discord link below, and maybe we can get to chatting about our current ventures or where we are in life, and maybe we can help one another out. Thank you guys again. I am definitely going to be back to speak again. So talk to you guys later. Thank you and goodbye.